We're a huge company in Europe, probably number one direct selling company in Europe. We're massive in Asia. I want that for the Americas. I want to be the number one direct selling company in the Americas, and I want us to be a household brand.
Welcome to Built to Last, a podcast from Direct Selling News, putting the spotlight on the best of the best companies in the channel. I'm Rolf Sperry, and today we're featuring PM-International, a legacy company that has achieved the nearly impossible. 33 consecutive years of year-over-year growth in direct selling. Founded in 1993 by entrepreneur Rolf Sorg, PM-International remains proudly founder-led and distributor-first. With a business model rooted in science-backed products, sustainable global expansion, and long-term opportunity, PM-International is a 5-time recipient of DSN's Bravo International Growth Award and currently ranks number 6 on the DSN Global 100 list. With annual revenue approaching $4 billion, it stands as the most consistent growth stories in the profession. From its international headquarters in Luxembourg to its European base in Germany, its Asia-Pacific hub in Singapore, and now its new Americas headquarters in Sarasota, Florida, PM International has built a truly global infrastructure that reflects its world-class ambition. In this episode, we'll sit down with Stuart MacMillan, President of PM International Americas. Stuart brings nearly 3 decades of executive leadership experience across North America and international markets. He's known for building infrastructure, driving growth, and aligning field and corporate culture. And now, he's leading PM International's expansion across the Americas. We'll explore what makes PM International's leadership opportunity model, product innovation, global strategy, and field support systems truly built to last, and how its unique legacy of consistency and partnership continues to shape the future of the channel. All right, so Stuart, you've got experience, 26 plus years experience in this profession. You have had a tremendous amount of success, and now you step into one of the legacy, I mean, we're talking like one of the greatest legacy stories of this entire profession. And coming in, first I want to hear, before anything else from you, like, what did you see? What was the uniqueness you saw in this company?
Well, I got to tell you, to start with, it's kind of humbling in a way to be jumping into a company that's already had the success that Rolf and PM have had. But I would tell you, in terms of assessment of opportunities, I always tell field people this, I would tell prospective employees this, I would tell my kids this. When you look at an organization, PM checked off, 3 really important boxes for me. And the first one was around product, and the fact that, their product has been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, rather than investing in new products all the time, PM and Rolf Sorg will oftentimes spend the innovation money on perfecting and increasing the value and the efficiency, the efficacy of their existing products. So they'll look at their number one product, for example, is their hero product is Activize. They, through research and development, continue to improve that product. I think we're on our 12th iteration of the exact same product. So they're really focused not just on getting a product out there, but making it the best possible product. So when I look at the products and I look at the value that they provide, that was the first thing. I went, okay, these products can stand alone. And I often talk about that, right? Like it's important that your product is something that people would buy irrespective of the channel. And so products went, okay, check, that's really cool. Pay. Now, we live in an environment where pay plans fluctuate up and down and change. And changing a comp plan in the direct selling environment is a cataclysmic event. Regardless of whether you're actually giving your distributors more money or not, they are going to be like a deer in the headlights, and it slows everything down. One of the things about PM is, notwithstanding, additions on the front end or adding ranks or anything like that, their comp plan has been the same comp plan for 32 years. And that is Mr. Sorg, that's Rolf Sorg's commitment. And he makes no apologies for it. This is what it is, and people have, had a lot of success with the existing comp plan, but he doesn't want to change it. And it's consistent and constant. And I think that's a fear for people getting involved in direct selling companies now. Am I going to look at a great comp plan and then next year they're going to change it, or they're going to make, they're going to do this or that. So pay, I always use P. So product, pay, and then probably, for me, most important is people. So I looked at, I've known Rolf for probably 12 years. He is nothing if not consistent. And so, he's a man of integrity. And I checked that out because, there are a lot of people who say they're people of integrity. But, when I looked at his staff in Luxembourg, most of those people have been around him for 25 or 30 years. That's a testament to strong people. They've been there, they work with him, they enjoy him. I looked at the opportunity to create a team here in Americas, and being given free rein to go, no, get the best people. And so if you have product pay and people, that's the recipe, in my opinion. The foundation to do something really cool.
I like it. Simple, yet really strong, the 3 Ps. So 26 years experience. Now you're brand new here. What's been the biggest surprise for you? Because I'm sure from the outside, you're trying to figure out why have they had so much success. You just named the 3 Ps. Is there anything that stands out that's like a surprise to you?
I haven't actually been surprised. I've been challenged. Challenged by, this is the first time I've gone into a company that is so big from a global perspective, but so just at its start here. But the methodology and the consistency and the way that they do things, it is a well-oiled machine. And so the, not surprise, but we got to figure this out, is how do we take that machinery, take the benefits and leverage all the things that they've done in their growth in Asia and Europe, and then apply them here. So that's the challenge, because business in America is a little bit different in the Americas. So Canada, United States, Mexico, it is a little different. But you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So, having been a leader in big companies and heard people in other countries go, oh, that won't work here. I come at the perspective of, I've heard that before. And you know what? I think there are opportunities in big global companies like this to go, okay, what are the strategic imperatives? What are the things that, irrespective of what country we're in, this is the way it's going to go? And then allow people to sort of tweak it from there. So my big challenge is, okay, what's and I haven't done this for many years. What's the tweaking? What do we take? And what do we tweak? What do we leave? What's going to work? What's not going to work? It's like a giant laboratory.
I'm looking at the stats, and I had to look at them over and over again, because 32 years, and it's going to be 33 years with growth. I know we look at that as one of those legacy marks, and we're talking about built to last here, and then we're combining that with your experience, and then we're looking at obviously what PM's done and what you're helping them to do, but also what they've done with all their success. What do you see the differentiator of the companies that are lasting and not having just that quick pop for 3 to 5 years, 5 years maybe at max, and then all of a sudden it's they just crater and go down massively?
The channel has undergone challenges, and I think in an effort to stay relevant and keep doing business, we chase after some things too quickly. And that's what I see happening. A lot of the companies that have sort of fallen away, in my opinion, that's partly why they've fallen away, because they've abandoned what got them there. And I think there's a difference, and it seems to be a theme, and we didn't talk about this, but there's a difference between going in a different direction and going, okay, let's take what we've learned and use it and leverage it and tweak it, as opposed to, so we're not going to do that. I've seen so many companies go, oh, we're changing our comp plan, or oh, we're going to go affiliate, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, and just abandoning what actually got them there. And I think, when I look at PM and I see, Rolf's commitment to, for example, the channel, like PM will never be a company that doesn't have a distribution network like it has today. Like he just wouldn't be interested. It just wouldn't happen. Their longevity and their success has been, in my opinion, just being non-compromising about certain key strategic imperatives.
Let's talk a little bit more about the founder, Rolf.
Okay.
Like, it's a founder-led still.
Yeah.
Company, so obviously big visionary.
Yeah.
He's very performance driven.
Oh yeah.
And I want to hear a little bit more on that, because there obviously, as Jim Rohn says, success leaves clues. And so to be able to have that amount of growth for 32 years, and now it's going to be 33 years, it starts at the top. It starts from who's the founder, who's the visionary, who's the owner. So I want to hear a little bit more about him, because I've heard the stories how he's just so incredible and so performance driven, and obviously we've seen the success as well.
Going back to his roots, one of the really cool things about Rolf is that if you look at him, he wears around his neck a spark plug. So if you ever see it, from far away, you go, what kind of jewelry is that? It's a spark plug, because he was a mechanic. He was a car mechanic. That's how and so he started his life as a car mechanic. He wears a spark plug around his neck to remind himself of where he came from. And I think it's interesting in our channel over the decades. I think we've talked, I'm sure you've talked about is there a point at which a founder-led organization should transition to professional managers and that. And I think in some companies there is. He has defied that, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It is a machine. We sit on global marketing meetings, with people from Asia. Every month we sit on global sales meetings. There is an order and a rigidity to how he manages the company that I haven't seen in a lot of other founders, because the typical founder evangelist mentality, the people who they're a little looser. Do you know what I mean? They play a little, kind of fast and loose, and they're creative. And Rolf's not that guy. He is rigid. And
when you say rigid, and obviously I know performance driven, like what does that look like? Is it very like, okay, these are our numbers, these are our principles, this is our...
You know what? It's numbers. More, these are our values. This is who he is.
Okay. I
have heard from him in the last 3 months on more than one occasion, that's not PM. That's not PM. That's not how we do things, in a cool way, right?
Yeah.
Like when people have said things that were, that's not right. That's not how we do things. Or, an event that just didn't go quite the way he wanted it to go. That's not PM. That's not how we do things. So it's more about rigidity in the experience and the methodology, and going, hey, this is what got me here, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to, and he's brought people in place, young people. There's a lot more he's bringing in, and I'm not one of the young ones, but he's brought in a lot of younger people into the company to go, okay, once again, this theme of how do we take this thing that's worked for 32 years and how do we massage it and not change it, but leverage it and use it for today and for today's time. And my challenge is today's time and a new culture, a different culture.
Yeah. And how do you balance out, obviously he has his vision, that's the vision, right? That's the big driver.
Yeah.
But then you've got some of your ideas and some of your vision. How do you balance that out? And I want to preface it. I hope you go in this direction, because you were telling me last night at dinner, like nobody likes the person that just comes in and says, we do this and this and this, without learning a little bit about the company and culture. And so I'm just kind of setting you up, because you've done a really good job already traveling to see a little bit on that. So I'd love for you to talk about that.
Yeah, I think, I am inherently impatient and, want to get busy and want to get at things. But I have been in organizations, and I actually have made the mistake myself of jumping in and trying to make changes too quickly, right? So there's this fine balance between not wasting time, right, but also not because you actually end up wasting more time when you jump in and you do something that then you have to sort of go backwards and go, nah, that probably wasn't right. And so for my first while, I have to remember it's his vision. What my role is to take his vision and figure out how do we do this in America, right? In the Americas. Like how do we take that vision? How do we take the stuff that he's done? How are we going to apply PM's success to what we're going to do here?
Yeah, and that goes right into the next question, because we know that culture has always been the X factor, but more and more it's becoming that because it's so easy to just buy things, right? You can just go on Amazon, you can just buy right away. Yeah. And so you got to have that meaning, you got to have that culture. And I know that companies, right, they state their mission and their culture, and sometimes it can come off a little bit fluffy, and then other times it really hits.
Right.
And I see that as something you guys have done extremely well. We see what the retention is. We see what the growth is. That's something that PM-International has an incredible reputation for, is their culture and mission. So coming in from as an outsider, now you're an insider.
Yeah.
What have you seen about the mission? What have you seen about the culture at PM-International?
What I've seen, and I hate to repeat it, is a dedication, a commitment to consistency, right? And I think, we talked earlier about
consistency for events, personal development, products,
in everything.
Everything.
Right? That's the key, is that, if we're going to apply, when I was a young guy, my one of my mentors said to me, he was a professional hockey player, and he said, I think it was in my 30s, and he said to me, Stuart, I watch you at work in your work life, and you're disciplined, and you're pretty rigid. And he goes, your personal life's a mess. And he told me back then, you got to be consistent. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. And I think at PM, they're consistent in everything. So it's like, we're not consistent here, but we're going to be fluffy over here. We're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be rigid about detail or methodology over here, but we're just going to fly by the seat of our pants.
So like a standard operating procedure for everything.
There is a standard operating procedure. Now, I'm a little looser, so it has been an adjustment, but there is a standard operating procedure for everything, and it's been developed, I guess, over 32 years. That's helpful, though. Then my challenge is, okay, how do I work within that framework to create a culture that is consistent with what he's created, but it is adapted to the United States. It's different in Canada. It's different in Mexico. It's different. We have a subsidiary in Chile. It's going to be different, but there's the core has got to be the same. So that's the challenge.
I want to shift now to the products, because to have that much growth, it's not going to happen unless you have viable products. Not just viable products, incredible products.
Right.
Tell me a little bit high level about PM's products and what makes them so great, what makes them so unique, what makes them so sticky.
Well, I think part of it is the research and development that goes into them. Rolf doesn't take anything. He's serious about everything, and he's serious about products. And if you looked at our scientific advisory board, I've been around the channel. There's some scientific advisory boards, and there's some scientific advisory boards. And that was one of the things that impressed me when I looked at the people on his board: physicians, sports medicine experts, PhD scientists, not one, not three, not five, but literally dozens. of people that meet on a regular basis. He has connections with universities in Austria and in Germany. And as I said, I think that the really cool focus is we're not just going to introduce new products to make money at them. We're going to introduce products that have value, that are meeting a need. So, for example, we introduced a new product in the last year or so called Top Shape. And Top Shape is a GLP-1 product. When everybody was getting into this GLP-1 kind of phase or trend at the time, they had scientists already working on it, and within 1 year, they were introducing a product that is now one of our top sellers. And it's that commitment to real science, right? That commitment to value in a product, the commitment to go, we're just not going to follow every trend here and there, but we're going to provide products that people really need. I have very quickly, and you know what? Sometimes you go, I've been in the channel, so I've used a lot of different products, but I've all of a sudden become kind of addicted to my regimen. The products, they work. You can feel them. So this patented nutrient transport concept takes all their products, whether they're topical or ingestible, right to the cell level. Now, I didn't know. I'm not a scientist. I didn't understand what that meant, but I can tell you this: our hero product, one of our hero products, which is called Activize, you would take it and you will feel it. You will literally, you feel the flush. You feel invigorated. And you know what? I'm a bit of a product skeptic. I got to be honest. And I'm like, wow, this is real. I love it. I love it because when you're delivering products to people, you want to be able to say, this is there's actual science behind this. It's not fairy dust. It's real science. And his commitment to that, to me, is one of the reasons I said, okay, I'm in.
You already alluded to it earlier, but I got to come back to it. We were talking about how we don't know many companies at all that take a product that works.
Yeah.
And then they reformulate it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I think you said 12 times for one of them?
Yeah, I believe Activize is on its 12th version. And it's just always new science. That's the cool thing about science, if you're really into science, because science changes, new things are discovered. And so for him to go, I want this to always be a premier product and invest money in a product that's already making him money, making us money, right? But to invest and go, I want to make it better. So to have scientists involved in going, let's make it even better. Let's make it even better. And when he told me that was before I started. When he said, this product, this one of our hero products, is on its 12th or 13th version because we want to make it better all the time. I thought that's pretty cool because that's spending money that you don't need to spend.
Yeah, I mean, I would look at it, all of those that are listening from PM International, it's got to give them a ton of confidence that it's not just a product that was here and it was good 15 years ago. It's going to continually just keep getting better and better and better. And you think about the amount of confidence that all of them will have. And I think it's also a great example to the entire profession of, oftentimes you have a product that's pretty good, but don't get complacent.
Right.
Keep improving that product over and over. I don't know. Do you know of any other companies that have done that? I don't know.
It's funny you say that. I don't think I know or have been involved in a company that continually is
maybe once or twice, but not consistently.
Looking at its hero product and investing in it. And I think that's why, one of the fun things already for me, even though I'm new, I was at the U.S. Open a few weeks ago, is looking at tennis players and going, they're drinking Activize. I can see it. It's kind of cool. So I think that's a testament again to, the power of the product when, the men's tennis tour says, we're going to partner with you.
Yeah. And I know we've talked a little bit about this. I want to just come back and highlight PM International's won the Bravo International Growth Award for 5 straight years.
Yeah, and counting.
Which is and counting. I love that confidence. And then you have Rolf, who also has won the Bravo Leadership Award. For that international growth, was it new markets or was it continual growth from the same markets or was it a combination of both?
the approach to international growth at PM is once again very, very well thought out, very rigid. They have they introduce products to a country, and then when there's some critical mass of people who say we want these products, then they register the products, and they do it right, but they have a process. It is never willy-nilly, and I think when I look at their growth so far, it has been. Okay, they have I don't know if you know, but the way they're structured, their global headquarters is in Luxembourg. Their European headquarters is in Speyer, Germany. Their Asia Pacific headquarters is in Singapore, and now their headquarters for the Americas is in Sarasota, Florida. So it is completely well planned out. Go into a market, blow it up. Don't just run to another market before you've figured out what to do there. And I think for someone like me coming in, the lessons that we can learn, that I get to learn from their expansion in other markets, is super helpful. Once again, our cultures are different, but if I don't learn, if I don't study, if I don't look at what's worked when they've launched in a new country, when they've launched in a new continent, like what they've done in Asia, if I don't learn from that, then it's just kind of wasted,
Yeah, I love how you consistently talk about them doing those basics and doing them better and having their standard operating procedure. And now you have a new facility that will be in Florida. Now, I swear my numbers are wrong, because what I was told, once you're done with all of the phases, it'll be a $43 million facility, which I believe in standard operating procedure, but if this is part of it, I mean, this is next level of dotting your I's, crossing your T's, like really committing to a continent, not coming in and just hoping that it works. It's like following exactly what you've been talking about. So tell me a little bit about that. And then after that, I'd love to hear a little bit about your excitement about the Americas.
Sure. Well, it's absolutely a testament once again to Rolf, and when he's in, he's all in. Like in the time I've known him, I don't think I've seen him dabble in anything. He's either in or out. And I think, for us to show our team partners, which is what we call our distributors, to show our team partners and prospective team partners the commitment that the company is making, I think it's huge. It excites me. It's an opportunity for us to go, look, we're all in. Are you going to be with us or not?
The importance now, if we go the old school timeless principles and the modern day technology. And so you guys have done a good job of adapting with that, right? I know you have your pay app, and then you also have on top of that your Fitline app that helps people to have both that, you've got the human touch, and then you also have the modern day technology. Talk a little bit about that, as well as the importance of mixing those two together.
Yeah, high tech, high touch, right? I think it's important. I think it's a growth opportunity for us. I think we're going to continue to look at one of the things that Rolf and PM have been fairly rigid about is in-house, homegrown. They believe their philosophy is that it's easier to tweak if it's in-house and we've created it. I think we have, especially within the Americas, the way that we do business is a little bit different. The vast, I think for a lot of my compatriots in Europe, when they realize that I can drive. Currently I drive 90 minutes to work. From my house to Sarasota. If I was in Europe and drove 90 minutes, I might have gone through 3 countries, And so technology is even more important to us. And, the fun thing, even in a meeting I was in last week, is to hear Rolf going, okay, let's use, some of the experiences from the newer people that are coming in. Like his product that he wants to go on the 12th iteration, he's going, we have technology and we need to upgrade it, update it, what's new, how do we make it better. A couple of innovations, that I think are really exciting for some of our new our prospective distributors and some of our existing team partners. They have something called the virtual warehouse. So it's a technology whereby I buy product, it sits in my virtual warehouse. I have 2 weeks to sell it. I can be paid on that product I can be paid on it before I paid for it. So little concept, didn't have a lot of work to do because we could do it in-house, right? And so people are getting commission on a product, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, whatever I haven't sold gets shipped to me, and I get billed for it.
Wow.
It's kind of cool. So that's just an example of some of the things that we're able to do, and the willingness, more than willingness, the desire, right, to keep pushing and to go, never good enough. If there's anything I've learned about Rolf, it's, he reminds me of an old hockey coach, which was, that and more will do.
Well, he's very performance driven. It's obviously worked out extremely well. From your experience, all your experience, as well as seeing in-house with PM-International, how do you balance that out where you have a very performance-driven culture while also making sure there isn't burnout? Because in network marketing, there's no such thing as total balance, right? But there's that balance of like as much as you can. They want to be driven. You want a performance-driven culture. And oftentimes I see when it's too performance-driven, oftentimes, right, that's where they have that quick spike for 2 to 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But obviously you guys have cracked that code to be performance-driven while also not causing burnout. That's very unique.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I was just with a colleague this morning at breakfast, and we were talking about, one of the really cool things about Rolf Sorg is that when he goes on vacation, he goes on vacation. When he is with his wife on the weekend, he is with his wife on the weekend. He leads by example in that way. And I think, I've been in organizations, I've been myself, someone who we just get so focused that, burnout is inevitable. I would tell you, I like what you said about, work-life balance. I don't personally believe in work-life balance. I believe it's rhythm. It's about rhythm. I think that there's no such thing as balance, but if your work is pulling you, invariably your family and other things there's gonna be tension or stress, right? And as long as it goes back and forth, right? As long as that tension and stress goes back and forth, that rhythm is, and that's what I'm trying to do already with the, with the staff that we're hiring. I think constantly. So in my very first month, I had to send out a memo to everybody who's a direct report and say, if I email you after hours or on a weekend with an idea or a question or you don't need, unless I say I really need this now, don't answer it until Monday. It can wait, or don't answer it till tomorrow morning. I think we as leaders have an obligation. It's a benefit to us. It's not helpful to have people who are stressed out and burned out. They're not going to be effective. So it's a management obligation to use that resource. We talk about our resources all the time. Our people are resources, and I think it's our obligation to manage that resource in a way that gets the most from them, to leverage whatever it is their strengths are. And we don't get the best out of people if we're hitting them all the time. Performance is absolutely important, but getting the most performance over a long period of time, in my opinion, is about just creating that rhythm and being open to the rhythm, being part of it and working with them on it. It is also about what motivates people. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by time off. Some people are motivated by recognition. And as a leader, I think our role is to figure out what is it that motivates this person, and then just play into the rhythm.
One of my favorite things you actually just said of this whole interview, where you started with Rolf and then you talked about how you follow it. Jim Elliott has a quote that says, "Wherever you are, be there." And JFK ended up, saying it when he was president as well. But you talked about Rolf as a founder-led. When you hear about someone that's that performance-driven, you're thinking like, There are no breaks. There are no vacation. There is no. And I love how you just shared that, because that's a great example to everyone. That's a great example to the entire profession. That's a great example to all the PM International, because they're going to follow. They're going to follow the visionary. They're going to follow the leader, and him showing that, sharing that, actually doing that from both the corporate side and also for the field of like, hey, when I work, I expect it, I do it, I'm performance driven. When I'm hanging out with my wife and I'm on vacation, I'm doing that as well. And then you also have that philosophy and you followed that as well. That's actually a really, really big deal. And that answers my question as far as how do you be so performance driven while not causing burnout. Wherever you are, be there, because oftentimes network marketers think they're working 8 hours a week, but in their mind, they're always working and they're kind of just going back and forth where they're not accomplishing either side. So that's a really good insight. So if someone were coming to PM International in their first 30 days, what would be one of the biggest things that they would notice? A rep comes their first 30 days and they're like, wow, like this really surprised me, or this really impressed me.
One of the first things people notice is how the product is a part of everybody's life. I mean, it is, people take it, it's present in meetings. It's just a part of who we are. Like, Activize, it's become a verb, I Activize. I think that this sense that we're part of something big, that's something they would notice right away, is that unlike some of the other places that I've been, like, we're part of something really huge. And it almost feels like, and what I'm trying to create is we owe it to the Americas to figure out, like they've been successful and they're providing, they're having impact in communities around the world. So it's almost an obligation to get that. And I think when you go to like when I went over to Luxembourg, you get this sense that people are just all in. This is the work-life rhythm is there. But you know what? They love being a part of something. It's just like you're actually a part of something. It's pretty cool.
PM International has done a phenomenal job of helping to create that, whatever you want to call it, bulletproof mindset, or just that incredible next level mindset. Oftentimes in network marketing, there can be a lot of hype.
Yeah.
And trying to distinguish the difference between dreaming big and hype can be hard.
Yeah.
But they've done it. PM International, you've done it. You guys have done it. Rolf's done it. He's been the visionary, the founder that's created that performance without hype, yet he's always willing to talk about, right, the expectations and the goals and the dreams.
Yeah, you're making me smile because he really is non-hype. Like it's just, he likes to get excited. He wants people to be, but yeah, there's no hype. It's real numbers. It's real results. Everything has got to be real. And I want to go back a little bit to something you said, because as I was listening to you, I was thinking about it. The opportunity as leaders, and what I see in Rolf is Rolf likes to laugh. And you know what? I think we all as leaders need to laugh. And you know what? If you met him at a DSN event or a DSA event, the first thing that came to mind wouldn't be, he's a funny guy. That's not what would jump out at you. And yet, the funny thing is, as you were talking, I was thinking, I've been in so many meetings where he has been so intense. And then within 30 seconds, he's laughing about something. And I think that's a lesson for all of us, is just don't take yourself too seriously, right? And allow people to ease up a bit, right? So have the pressure, the performance, but then you got to enjoy life. Rolf is a wine connoisseur. He understands. He loves great food. He loves wine. He loves fishing. If he's out on his boat, he's present. He's there. He doesn't do anything else. So that whole idea of, I think you get more out of yourself if you allow yourself to be present wherever you need to be. I like that.
In this profession, we know the importance of having causes that are bigger than us, right? We've talked already a little bit about culture and that being the X factor, but we know giving back, the philanthropy aspect is huge.
Yeah.
And I always have a huge respect for what this profession has done. Now, I know that you guys have that with the PM We Care, where you're donating a portion of the revenue every single time to children in need. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Well, once again, was one of the things that when I was, talking to Rolf about joining PM, one of the things that I was like, wow, this is cool. And before I actually joined PM, as I said, I went to this World Management Congress, and when I saw what it was that they were doing, I was texting my kids and my wife and going, this is unbelievable. I mean, PM is World Vision's biggest global partner, and they have currently sponsored, they're on a trek to sponsor 10,000 kids, and we're already at over 6,000 kids. And I've seen in our channel and outside our channel people who pay lip service to philanthropy, who see it more as a marketing tool, than anything else. And that's not where we are. I mean, Vicky Sorg, Rolf's wife, she heads this up. She travels around the world. She sits with kids in third world countries. She is super involved. It's real. And that was one of the things that I went, wow, this is pretty cool.
Talk about how important you believe having the philanthropy aspect in this business is. Particularly
for a certain generation. I think, people now anywhere between 25 and 40, they want to be part of something bigger than themselves. They want to have impact. And I think that, organizations that don't do that, you're going to lose those people because they want to be able to be successful or significant. They want to be able to do what they need to do, but they want to feel somehow like it's not just for them. That somehow whatever it is that they're doing is actually having an impact on other people. And for me, that's always been my philosophy. Is people who know me will know I talk about being a light, like be a light. And I think we have in PM, and I want to leverage that in the Americas. We have an opportunity to have an impact. We have an opportunity to have an impact with products, really, really good products. We have an opportunity to have an impact with pay plans that are consistent and constant and enable people to do things that maybe they couldn't have done before. And we have, I think, this huge opportunity to create community. Because I think, we talk a lot about mental illness right now, and one of the leading factors in mental illness is loneliness. And I think since COVID, we've seen the danger of people pulling in and not being part of a community. And so one of the challenges and the most fun things for me is to be able to create this community here, to create community, to create a place where people go, we're doing this together. And so we care as an element of that is, hey, we're getting together, we're doing this, but look at what we're doing for the world at the same time as we're having a great time hanging out together.
Well, there's all different types of founders. There's founders, right, that don't have maybe as much experience and they're learning, and we're hoping that they have that same passion for network marketing. But one of the things that we've talked about at the DSN is our gratitude for Rolf and his commitment to the profession. He is one of the biggest supporters of direct selling news. He's one of the biggest supporters of just direct selling in general, which I believe should give a ton of confidence to PM International, because that is actually becoming more and more unique.
It is. We are seeing, and we have seen, particularly over the last 5 years, founder owners sort of abandoning the channel or looking for faster ways to make money, looking for, return's not quite, let's kind of run away and go over here. And, Rolf is as committed to the channel as he is to anything else. And so you're right. I mean, he supports the DSA, he supports DSN, he finds value. It is foundational to who PM is, and it'll never change.
Well, with PM International being one of the legacy companies, if you're thinking far, far in advance, 10, 15 years from now, what do you want PM International to be remembered by or remembered for?
Well, we've talked about the fact that we're number 6 globally on the DSN Top 100. We're a huge company in Europe, probably number 1 direct selling company in Europe. We're massive in Asia. I want that for the Americas. I want to be the number 1 direct selling company in the Americas, and I want us to be a household brand. I want the name PM and Fitline in particular to be on people's lips all the time. I want them to be known for having impact. We and the opportunity is there. If the company is like 3.2 billion was last year, the opportunity to be 6, 7, 8 billion is there. But in the process of doing that, to do all the things that we've talked about, to impact lives, to enhance lives, to personal development. I always want to be associated with a company that says, come. In our case, be a team partner. Come be a team partner. In the worst case scenario, after a year, you'll be a better mom or a better dad or a better leader. And I want to leverage what the content that I've talked about that they have in Europe here in America to do that, to make people better versions of themselves as they sell our products and kind of go about their job. So that's what I'd love. I'd love to be remembered, for the company to be remembered as a place where people got the opportunity to be the best versions of themselves.
Well, Stuart, I just want to thank you so much for coming into the studio, for sharing all of your decades of experience and the insider information on the incredible success that PM International has had and continues to have.
Thank you very much, Rob, and congratulations on your book. Great read.
Thank you.